he will get the word of God to them. I had a similar experience with that. I grew up very religious. I grew up in the Roman Catholic Church. Any of you that know me know that. Went to 12 years of Catholic grade school, Catholic high school, and then I got my eyes off of God and off of people, off of God onto people, and began to notice hypocrisy and double standards, and not realizing I was becoming probably the biggest of the hypocrites and that had the biggest double standards. I just stopped going to church, stopped praying, stopped seeking God, fell into a sinful lifestyle of drugs and alcohol and partying and immorality and different things like that. Got involved in the hippie movement. This was back in the 70s. And I actually came to the point from a God fearing young man when I was in grade school. I mean, I used to go over to the Catholic church and the Catholic school, and the playground was about a half a block from our house. And I used to go over to the playground after school, and oftentimes before I would go to the playground to meet friends and play basketball or baseball, something like that, I'd go into the church there. The church was open in those days 24 hours, 7 days a week, 24/7. Wasn't like it is today where it has to be locked all the time. And I oftentimes would go into that cavernous, awe-inspiring, incense-scented church. I mean, I'd walk in there and you could just kind of hear, when I was as a young boy, it's like, God is here. This is where God lives. This is God's house. And I'd go in there maybe, 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I might be the only one in there. Maybe there might be one or two older ladies praying the rosary. And I'd go in there and I'd just kneel down in the pews and I'd just be quiet. It's just like God was there. And I would just like bask in that. I was just like, oh God, you are amazing. And I went from that as a young boy to, by the time I got out of going to school at Ohio State University, I was telling people I'm an agnostic. I may even be an atheist. I remember telling people, you'll never know. We'll never know if there's a God until we die. We can't know if there's a God. How can anybody know? And I digressed to that point. Now, here's the thing, tying in with what we're talking about here. Long story made short, I hitchhiked across the country. I ended up at the Grand Canyon, where I had some friends from high school had gotten summer jobs there at the Grand Canyon. They said, hey, if you're coming out this way, stop in and see us. Stopped in and saw them. They said, you ought to just get a job here. I mean, I fell in love with the Grand Canyon from the very first second I saw it. It's like, this is amazing. If you've ever seen it, it's literally breathtaking. And I mean, that's the first time I saw it, I walked up to it and it took my breath away. It was literally breathtaking. I can't think of too many things that have done that. So I ended up getting a job there. And at this point, I'm an agnostic / atheist. But I began to hike the Grand Canyon, began to just sit on the rim and look at it, look at sunrises and sunsets, and just began to contemplate it. And something happened. In that process, I came to this. I thought, there's a God. There is a God. This is no accident. This is not some big bang. There is a God. Well, that brought me to the knowledge of God, but didn't bring me to salvation. But that was the first step. So once I had that knowledge of God, I was like, on the inside, I'm crying out. I said, God, if you're there, I want to know you. God, and I actually went through this thought process. If there's a God, if he's God, he's big enough to reveal himself to me. So I said, God, if you're real, show me. Long story made short again, I was in Las Vegas, Nevada, in a shopping mall. I walk into a secular bookstore. I'm just looking around, killing time. My girlfriend was shopping in that mall, and I'm just killing time. I see a cardboard display in the secular bookstore of living Bibles, the Living Bible. And it had a picture on the covers, a paperback green Bible. I still have it on my shelf over, not that exact one, but one just like it. Paperback, had some young people on the front. And I thought, well, this looks pretty cool. This looks pretty cool. No, never saw a Bible that looked so practical and so down to earth. Everything always seemed religious and holy, and it's like beyond me. And I was at this time seeking answers, seeking the truth. I was wondering, why am I here? What is life all about? What's the purpose of my life? What's going to happen when I die? Questions a lot of people don't ask themselves, the big questions. What is the purpose of my being? And I think, why am I so empty and so lonely, even though I got all these outside trappings? I should be happy. And I wasn't going to go to religion, wasn't going to go to Christianity, because I got turned off by that. So I started to look into Eastern religions and meditation and yoga and different things and psychedelic drugs and that, looking for the meaning of life. Well, I see these display of Bibles. I'm thinking, I've tried everything else. How about the Bible? And I thought, what if I got this and read it? Maybe there's some answers here. Well, I got that Bible, and I'll admit, embarrassingly, bought it, put in that brown paper bag, and walked out of the mall and thinking, I hope nobody saw me buy this Bible. I mean, this would blow my cover. I'm Mr. Cool, Mr. Hippie, and it's like, I hope nobody saw me buy this. Well, I'm traveling around at that time in a camper van, and I put that Bible in there. Months go by. I don't even look at it, just totally ignore it. But the day came when I had some time to kill, and I was just thinking, what do I want to do? And I had a small collection of books. I mean, when you're in a camper van, you don't take a whole lot. I just had several books. One of them was that Bible. My eyes fell upon that Bible, and I thought, maybe I ought to read that. I thought, I've never read it. 12 years of religious schooling, going to church every Sunday, I've never read the Bible. All I had was snippets of it, enough to be dangerous, enough to not even know what I didn't know. And I thought, maybe I ought to read that Bible. And I thought, after all, it's the all-time bestseller. This was the thought process I went through. I thought, well, it's the all-time bestseller. Maybe I ought to read it. And I thought, if I read it and nothing happens, I've read the all-time bestseller. If I read it and something happens, then great. So I got that Bible, and I literally got down on my stomach on the floor of that camper van. I'm up on my elbows. I've got the Bible, and I remember, I don't know if you could call it a prayer, but I remember saying this. I thought, it was probably more even a thought. I thought, God, if you're real, show me. I'm going to start to read this, and if you're real, show me. I figured if he's God, he's big enough to show me who he is. He's big enough to reveal himself to me. If he can't do that, then he's not God. So I thought, God, show yourself to me. Reveal yourself to me. All right, there's a lot here. We will take this up again tomorrow. Be sure to tune in. Be sure to like us on YouTube page and subscribe so it can come right to your phone. Hit that notification, and we'll see you tomorrow. Again, I encourage you to share this with somebody. It's just great little 7-8 minute devotional you can watch each day and listen to each day, and just get that daily faith boost. God bless you. See you tomorrow.